I'm finally able to talk about a film called Pearl, which I mentioned quite a while ago in a review I did about the film X. If all of that sounds like nonsense to you, don't worry, I'll try and explain. Hi, my name's Stu and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. Now, I just mentioned we're talking about a prequel, although you can actually just jump into this film without knowing anything. So it's actually going to be a trilogy. There's a film that's going to come out at some point. It will be called Maxine. So it's actually is a sequel to the first film in this trilogy, at least when you look at the release dates, which was a film called X, which I did a review for. I'll actually leave a link to it at the end of this video if you're interested. It's a set in the 70s horror film. It reminds you a lot about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for various reasons, but it's a very worthwhile film to watch. So I'll leave a link, like I say, to my review at the end of this video. And at that time when I did that review, I did already mention this film called Pearl, which is actually a prequel to it. I had already known about it. I didn't get around to watching it at the time, unfortunately. Now I finally have. I actually had to wait quite a while for the Blu-ray to be released. It seems to have a very limited release, at least in Europe anyway. I mean, I think it'll be easier to get in America, but here not so much. I was very interested to see the film itself. You can actually watch the films, apart from each other. You do not have to watch them all together, or you don't have to watch one to get the other. It's not at all like that. It's how the director intended it. You know, he wanted every film to be absolutely standalone as well. Ty West is the writer and director, by the way. But I was very interested in watching this film because Pearl is a character who appears in X. I won't spoil how and why and whatnot. I mean, I did say that film is set in the 70s. This one is set during the First World War. So, as you can imagine, just by the time jump alone, so in Pearl we see a young woman who then in X is then an older woman. But I won't tell you more details about that connection, apart from that. So, I'd say we get stuck into the story. What is this about? As I said, it's set during the First World War. Pearl, she lives out in the country in Texas with her parents. Her father, I'm not too sure, I would assume he is American. I'm saying I'm not too sure because he doesn't actually speak, because he is paralyzed and in a wheelchair, and she is a German mother who also speaks German with her, which was quite funny for me because I live in Austria, I am fluent in German, and it's always fun to see these kind of things. Unfortunately, she wasn't exactly fluent in German, so you can really hear the accent and everything going on, but still, it's quite funny when these things happen in film. Her husband has gone off to war, so Pearl's husband has gone off to war, and she's left home alone. She has to, alone with her parents, tending the farm, looking after that, and all the time she's striving for more. She wants more from life. Then on the horizon, she's got this idea that she wants to join this sort of singing dance troupe, and she practices for that. It's a big dream, and she wants to use that to finally get away from her life on the farm. So that's more or less what we see happening. She meets a projectionist, a cinema projectionist in town, and gets to know him, and obviously being from that sort of creative side, that sparks her interest, of course, and she tells him about her dreams, etc. And yes, and then, this is also in the horror franchise, this is an entry in the horror franchise. It's not too gruesome or anything, but it is ultimately a horror film. And something happens, I'll say, that kind of, let's say, shifts Pearl's worldview, let's call it, or her attitude towards people, and then something happens. Horror film, guess what happens? These films have clearly been said to be in a sort of slasher category, so you can imagine what happens. But that's not the interesting thing about it. I will leave it at that. I think that's as much of the story as I will tell you. So it's basically about a young woman who has dreams and has difficulty living out those dreams and also conveying them to others, and be seen by others, because her mother just wants to keep her in check, and can sense that there's something wrong about her, or something dangerous, evil, whatever, But it's very much about a misunderstood person, I would say. But what's great about this film is visually alone, because even when it starts and you see it happening, the first few minutes rolling out, I was looking at the screen, I thought this is giving me really, really strong The Wizard of Oz vibes, just from the whole look and everything. You've got these these massive luscious colours going on, and just how the farm itself, you know, the way it looks. And actually there's the film at the start has got this interior scene where she's tending to the animals and singing for them, etc. And it really looked, to me at least, it really looked and felt like a stage. So it was very reminiscent of that. And actually I was quite quite amused to see in the extras that was actually intentional. So they did want to emulate the Wizard of Oz in a bit, you know, having this idyllic landscape, whereas at the bottom of it you've got this you know, this story going on that isn't quite happy and all these kind of things. And they actually used Technicolor, so even on a technical level they were emulating the look of the Wizard of Oz. So I always thought that was quite cool. It's very unusual nowadays, of course, but that's why these colours pop so much, and they're really beautiful to look at. So visually it's absolutely amazing, and the acting is great too. I mentioned Mia Goth, she plays Pearl, she plays the main character. I mentioned her in X as well, because she plays the main character there too. Don't worry, it's not confusing. Having the same actress in 2 films in the same trilogy, playing 2 different characters, it's fine. But she is absolutely incredible, so I think we're going to see a lot more of her in future. She's got scenes in this that are just really amazing. I mean, probably one of the best acting things I have seen during a credit scene happens here. That really makes you so uneasy, I will say, and that's all just down to her acting and her facial expression and all these things. So I'd say watch it for her alone, because just watching her portraying this character, you know, who's struggling to be seen and all that, really great stuff here. And I was also quite interested in seeing David Corenswet. I didn't know him, this is the first time I've actually seen him. He was in the news in the past few months because he's going to be the new Superman in James Gunn's DCU, or specifically his Superman Legacy film. So this was my first encounter of him. Quite interesting to see that, and I can absolutely picture him being a really cool, new and different Superman figure. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him. He also does a great job in this film. You know, first being enamored with this girl and her dreams and everything, and then sort of discovering, you know, she's not quite who she is, or there's a side to her that she keeps a bit hidden. Anyway, really interesting horror film. I like the concept. I also like how it fits in. Like I say, you can watch the films apart, but obviously when you do watch them, if you watch Pearl, it enhances your experience of the film X, because you get more of the connections and motivations and stuff behind it and various things. So yeah, I like how those 2 interlock, as it were, and I'm looking forward to the 3rd one in the trilogy, which when and if it comes out, I expect I will also talk about it on this channel. So that's a high recommendation from me, but I'll leave it at that. That will be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about anything you want to say about this film, you know, its connections to X, the trilogy as a whole, any of the aspects, you know, the technical or the acting, which again, absolutely great. Really enjoyed that. Anyway, anything you want to say, put it down in the comments below. I'll thank you for watching this video. By the way, I'll leave that review, the link to my review video to X, I'll leave that up here. I'll thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care.